Well. Looks like there's a little controversy on the recruiting trail between two quarterbacks that Oklahoma covets for the 2026 class, between Jaden ONeal, who's already committed to Oklahoma, and Bowe Bentley, who is being coveted by new offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle. Is this something to worry about? Let's talk about it. Here we go once again, riding on in. It's the Outlaw Posse now in effect. And today's Four Horsemen shoutouts go to That Christian Fam Channel, Shane Moore, The Bomb, and Alpha Dragon Gaming FTW. Mount up, saddle up, ready to go, and they're going to help us with today's college football invasion. Also, like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Those are the big four, and they're all absolutely free. If you have any good ideas for the show, want to be on the show, just hit me up on Twitter, aka X, at OCF Productions. Now, getting right to it here. It seems like we got a little bit of controversy on the recruiting trail. It was brought to my attention by a few people, as I mentioned earlier. And I also talked to our boy Killer Breeze, the Oklahoma Roughneck, and he gave me his take on the situation as well. And I'm going to give you his comment on it in just a second. But what we have here is Jaden ONeal and Bowe Bentley are both quarterbacks in the same class of 2026. Jaden ONeal was offered by Oklahoma under Seth Littrell, and he committed, and he moved his entire family, including himself, of course, to Oklahoma, and has been committed. And as you know, one of Brent Venable's big sticking points and one of his, I guess you could say, pet peeves is that if you commit to Oklahoma, you're not supposed to be talking to other schools. Well, it seems like there's been a little bit of hypocrisy playing out here, according to some of the Oklahoma fans, because Oklahoma's out courting another quarterback. But in Oklahoma's defense and the coaching staff at Oklahoma, this is a new offensive coordinator. And if Ben Arbuckle is not comfortable with the recruit that is Jaden ONeal, and that he feels more comfortable with Bowe Bentley, you probably have some extenuating circumstances here that probably lends to it not being as much hypocrisy on Brent Venable's part as much as the haters would like to sort of drag that out and try to call Oklahoma out on it. If you bring a new offensive coordinator in, they're going to want to run their system with the players that they think are good for their system. So it's a catch-22 here. It really sucks that Jaden ONeal was, told that he was the guy, and he committed, and he brought his whole family down here. That really sucks. But it's also, bringing a new offensive coordinator, nothing's ever set in stone. The guy probably shouldn't have brought his family down here until he was for certain that he was going to be the starting quarterback at Oklahoma. But just because he commits to Oklahoma, even if they don't go after Bowe Bentley, there's no guarantee that he's going to be the starter at Oklahoma next year. You just never know. But I'm going to go ahead and bring up Killer Breeze's comment here real quick. And here's what Killer Breeze had to say on the subject. I asked him about it, and he said it was a tricky situation because ONeal committed to our former OC, Seth Littrell, and our new OC wants Bentley, so he's been putting on a full court press for Bentley, which has soured ONeal a bit. At the end of the day, they could end up losing both recruits because they didn't fully commit to just one. They're actually trying to sign both, but most people find that very unlikely to happen. So that's another caveat in all this that could really, really blow up in Oklahoma's face, is what if these two guys decide to go elsewhere and you basically screwed yourself out of two quarterbacks instead of going all in on one? Well, it seems to me like, from what you're saying, that Ben Arbuckle, the new offensive coordinator, already is all in on one. But let's go ahead and bring up some stats on these two guys and let y'all make an educated decision on who you think Oklahoma should be committed to in this process. As you can see, this is the ESPN Top 300 profile for Bowe Bentley. He is a 6'1", 205-pound quarterback, class of 2026. Hometown is Salina, Texas. He's a dual threat quarterback, and his status is undeclared. They give him a 4-star and an 80 grade. He is ranked 261st in the overall ESPN 300. So now let's take a look at the profile. As you can see here, this is Jaden ONeal's profile on the ESPN 300. He's 6'3", 215 pounds, class of 2026. He is from Mustang, Oklahoma, or he was actually, originally I think he was from California. They got him listed as Mustang, Oklahoma because he moved his family there, I think in his senior year, if I'm not mistaken. Now, if I'm wrong about that, y'all can correct me in the comment section. But he's got an 82 scout grade. He's a 4-star, and he is the 112th overall in ESPN 300. So by that number alone, it looks like maybe he's a bit better than Bowe Bentley. But like I said, Ben Arbuckle is doing his due diligence, and he is evaluating these players. And the guy has been known as an offensive genius, whereas Seth Luttrell really didn't do himself any favors last year at endearing himself as an offensive genius to the Oklahoma fans. So at this point, it's like, whose opinion are you going to take, Seth Luttrell's or Ben Arbuckle's, right? So in the end, it's like Killer Breezy says, it's a tricky situation. It's a catch-22. It's a double-edged sword. It's all those analogies tied up in one. I just like to ask you people out there, all the Oklahoma fans watching, who do y'all prefer? Do y'all prefer to stick with Jaden ONeal, who seems like stat-wise and profile-wise on ESPN might be the better choice, or go with Bowe Bentley, who Ben Arbuckle is really high on, and he's a guy that y'all brought in for his offensive genius and to try to turn this thing around for Oklahoma and Brent Venables? Y'all drop in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about that. But before I get out of here, I'm going to bring up a bit of good news that was brought to me by Courtney. She sent me a little article here, or she sent me a little nugget on a commit that Oklahoma just got. Let me bring that up for y'all. And as you can see, this is from SoonerWires.com. It says, key points, 3-star safety, Niko Jandreau. Hopefully I said his name right. From Chandler, Arizona, commits to Oklahoma in the 2026 recruiting class. Jandreau chose the Sooners over offers from several major programs, including Washington, Missouri, Arizona State, and most importantly, those USC Skittle Shitters. Says he's a physical player with versatility and plays multiple positions in the secondary. He is listed as a safety. The Oklahoma Sooners picked up their first commitment on the defensive side of the ball in the 2026 recruiting class, earning this pledge from Niko Jandreau. In an interview with Parker Thune of OU Inside Rivals, Jandreau said, out of all the places I went, there wasn't a place quite like Oklahoma. Jandreau is the first commitment for the Oklahoma Sooners since 4-star wide receiver Daniel Odom pledged to OU back in January. It's another strong win for Brandon Hall on the recruiting trail, who has made Oklahoma's safety room into arguably the deepest position on the team. When the team adds Jandreau in the 2026 recruiting class, they'll get another fast and physical safety. So that's some good news. Looks like Brandon Hall is earning his paycheck. I'm hearing a lot of good things about Brandon Hall. He seems like to be a somewhat of a recruiting guru here lately. Now, before we get out of here, if you want to join the Outlaw Posse and get your badge and get deputized and get a random 4 horseman shout out like those guys just did earlier in the show, as well as possibly the comment of the day, all you got to do is hit that join button over by the subscribe button. It's not $2.99 a month. That's just 75 cents a week. That's just a half a bottle of water for the Outlaw. And if you can't do all that, it's absolutely free to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Subscribe. It gets this party bigger, gets it crunk, puts me in the good graces of YouTube, helps keep the lights on. With that, I'm out of here. KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.